Well, I'm joined by James Brown, who was, of course, the founding editor of Loader magazine, who went on to do many other things, including Jack and edited GQ, and he now runs the online magazine, Sabotage Times. James, tell me about your digital life.
I've had to start leaving my phone out of my bedroom and waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and checking my tweets. It's just mad, and I know I'm not the only person doing it. If you ever send a tweet like that, people respond. But you can, I got up at like 7 o'clock this morning. I thought I'd go swimming. At 8:45, I was just reading somebody's inane comments.
Still in your pyjamas?
No, all of that's gone. It's gone. And so that is sort of like beginning and end of the day. Tweeting has replaced reading, which I don't like.
Are you an iPhone man, or do you like something with a battery that lasts longer than a day?
What I'm finding is a lot of people that I work with are becoming increasingly frustrated by them. And I'm sort of, like a lot of people, brand conscious, you want a nice user experience. But I'm getting really pissed off with Apple. And I think that's a tide that's coming.
But you've still got one in your hand, James.
Yeah, because I'm hooked on it. I did some work with Primal Scream last week. I made a film with them for their promotional work for the new album. And David Holmes, who's produced the album, was there. And he told me that Andrew Innes, who's a guitarist and a songwriter, he doesn't have a phone. I was quite surprised at that. And then David Holmes said, when I was in LA, I didn't have a phone for 18 months. And I think, when I go out, if I leave my phone in the house, if I go out in the country or something, you come back and people are going, why haven't you called me back? But it's really liberating. It's like taking a handcuff. It's like, we've all been tagged. These are tags. We've all got... Criminals have them on their ankles. We've got them by choice.
Well, there's a new one out in September, I think. So
yeah, there's always a new one out. It's like, it's like Spice Girls singles, isn't it? You look back and suddenly there are 27 number ones. You think, well, I don't remember the first one. The other thing I have got, though, which is good, is the big Apple. It's like a massive iMac. It's about that big. And I moved house last week, and I didn't take the telly. I've left the TV.
You left the TV?
I've left the TV.
How big's the TV?
My TV's about that
42
big.
inch.
It's a bit big and a little one. I've left them. Because what I found myself increasingly doing is just sitting in front of television frustrated. If you're watching Sky, the film started 15 minutes ago. You spend so long just going through and not finding what you want, even with Sky Plus.
Oh, you're a Netflix man?
Netflix is pretty good, The way to do it, I find, is I went online and I got like the Empire or like some American Premiere, if that's still going, some American magazine. I got their 100 best films list, and I just went through it, and I'd seen about 60 of them, and 20 of them I'd never heard of. So I just wrote them down, and that's what I watch now.
Well, let's talk about music. It's one area we've not touched on.
Yes.
Are you a Spotify man, or have you still got a cupboard full of 6,000 CDs?
Oh, God, I just moved house. You can have them if you want. If anyone wants 6,000 CDs, you can come and have them. All my CDs going back. I was on the NME when CDs arrived, and I've got tapes. I don't want any of it. I don't want anyone wants a full collection of great CDs from the sort of late 80s through the early 2000s. They can have them.
If you've still got tapes, you've got a hoarding problem.
I've got everything. I've got all my interviews. I've got interviews with Morrissey, with New Order, with all of that. I've got loads and loads of interviews, which is probably me just asking really shit questions and moaning and trying to, but anyway.
You thought about putting them online on the website? Everyone loves an archive.
I found my U2 interviews. I interviewed you. I went around the world with U2 on their Achtung Baby tour, and I lost the tapes when I had to do the piece.
That must have been a moment.
Unfortunately, I'd been eating some space cake in Berlin with them. Well, they weren't drinking it, and I ended up dropping all the cassettes. I thought I'd lost them. So I had to make the piece up from memory, and it was bad, and they made me rewrite anyway, and I found them. So I was thinking about rewriting that piece. I'd quite like to listen to those, but they're on mini discs. They're on like those mini cassettes. On a digital radio, I listen to classical. It used to be called Capitol Gold. It's just called Gold now.
Yeah.
And it is brilliant. Dexys, The Faces, T-Rex, David Bowie, Rolling Stones, The Kinks. every Saturday morning. Absolutely brilliant.
The same songs on rotation.
No, they're not. They're different songs by some of the greatest British artists of the last 50 years. Sounds like an advert. I don't listen to it at any other time.
I had you down as a Six Music man.
Yeah, I mean, I mainly listen to I can't listen to Six Music in the car. And you know what? Half of their presenters used to work for me at the NMA. So I've kind of listened to them a lot, just sitting around.
Who's that? People like?
Stuart McConey, Marianne Hobbs, Andrew Collins, Steve Lamacq. That used to be what I looked at, those four people. Our relationship with technology has really changed. I was on the tube yesterday and I looked round. Everybody was looking at a screen who was doing something. So there were about 8 or 9 people looking at Kindles and phones. And I think only a year ago, the majority would have had books, and there'd have been 2 or 3 Kindles or whatever. And I think we just exploded and it's like some sort of science fiction film. We've become sort of just logged in to the digital world. We're in panic. We don't have phones.
And Google Glass is coming next.
Yeah, but people are just obsessed with it. They've got to find out what their neighbour's new picture of the cat looks like. Rather than going round and looking at it, they've got to look at it online. And we're just consuming hours and hours and hours of just rubbish is going into our heads. So that's the challenge, because there's also hours and hours of brilliant stuff.
Okay, James Brown, I think I can hear your phone going off, so we better move on. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.